Baby, baby, don't you want to go? Oh, baby, baby, don't you want to go? From the land of California to my sweet home of Chicago. Oh, baby, baby, don't you want to go? Oh, baby, baby, don't you want to go? From the land of California to my sweet home of Chicago. Now 1 and 1 is 2, and 2 and 2 is 4. I'm heavy loaded, baby, I'm booked, let's go. Singing, baby, honey, don't you want to go? From the land of California to my sweet home of Chicago. All right, here we go. Now, baby, honey, don't you want to go? I said, baby, baby, don't you want to go? From the land of California to my sweet home of Chicago. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I figured I'd sneak a little song in here before I talk about this little microphone here that I'm using, and that was an old Robert Johnson blues song called Sweet Home Chicago. I've been trying to learn some old blues songs, and that was my own, I guess, hacker's interpretation. So hopefully it went fairly well, but yeah, I've been using this microphone on and off. I got it back in 2020. Sometimes I'll use this. Sometimes I'll use, an old standby condenser microphone, and other times I'll just, plug directly in and use the pickup inside the guitar, and sometimes I'll blend them. But I did mention in my last 5-Song Friday that I would talk about this mic, so here I am. I'm finally talking about it. So this microphone is from a company called DPA. They make various microphones. Some of them are kind of high end, but they do make some budget microphones as well. This mic is a little mini microphone. It's a condenser mic, so it does require 48 volts of phantom power. And it's super cardioid as opposed to regular cardioid, which helps block out, noise coming in from the sides, I guess, a little better. It comes on, I'll just take it off here. It comes, well, it depends. There are different clips that it comes with. In my particular case, I got a clip that's made for attaching to acoustic guitars. But they do have different clips for violin, for stand-up bass, saxophone, piano, and I think even for drums, for those that want to hook it up to their drum set. I guess they call it a gooseneck. The gooseneck itself is pretty flexible, right? You can bend it and all, and the clip is adjustable depending on the size of your guitar. So let me get this back on here. Hopefully I remember how to do this. Okay, there we go. So yeah, you can place this on your guitar, wherever you want. If you want it up here and then have it bend down, that's typically how I use it. If you want it up here, or some folks might move it down here, maybe pick up a little more of the bottom end of your guitar. And I don't know if I said this, but if I did, I'll say it again. It does come with a pop filter attached. The microphone itself is a little tiny thing in there. Then it has this long little skinny wire, which I don't know, it's maybe like 5 or 6 feet long. That attaches to this adapter that's an XLR adapter, which obviously goes with an XLR cable. And it has a little clip on here if you want to clip it to, you know, the side of your pants if you're, you know, standing up, say, and playing live. So that's the deal. That's the deal with that. So who is this microphone marketed towards? I'd say anybody, but I think it's primarily marketed towards folks that are playing live, although you can use it in the studio as I'm using it, and I'll explain why in a bit. But this, I would say it's for, and you know, the benefit of it, or who would be for, is folks that play live, say acoustic guitar, you know, playing and singing. But most folks are usually plugged in direct, you know, when they're playing live, and you get kind of that kind of quacky sound that you get from these however you say, these pickups, you know, that are built in directly into an acoustic guitar. And if you prefer the sound of a real microphone, that would be who this would be marketed towards. And I've watched Tiny Desk concerts on YouTube. I don't know if anybody's familiar with them, with NPR. They have different acts, some well known, some of them maybe not so well known. And occasionally, I'll see folks on there using this as well, or maybe they're blending the direct along with the live mic. And also, I figured I'll mention this. Last summer, I was up Cape Cod on 4th of July, and I went to an outdoor concert of an orchestra, which I've never gone to in my entire life. So this was, you know, obviously a live orchestra. It included dinner. Everybody was sitting around these round tables, and then it had live fireworks afterwards. And our table, to me, was a prime location. We were sitting right next to the front of house mixer, you know, the audio engineer that mixes everything. And I noticed that the string section had these little tiny microphones, and I was very proud of myself because during the break, I asked the front of house engineer, I asked him, are those DPA 4099 mics? And he said, yes, they are. So I was real proud that I'm actually starting to know my stuff a little better. The other interesting thing was, just on a little side note, he told me they were using 70 microphones. Now this was a full orchestra. This had a choir, string section, you know, I guess brass, horn section, and all that. And all different microphones, not just these little DPAs. You know, I had microphones that were, you know, high up in the air, pointing down, I guess getting a stereo blend of everything, and then microphones facing the audience, but unbelievable, 70 microphones. And I have a hard enough time just trying to mix 2, let alone 70. But at any rate, that's you know, that's mainly who it's marketed towards, live folks. So I don't play live much. Occasionally, my friend has a block party, and I may play there, but that's like once every couple of years. So the question is, you know, then why the heck did I buy one of these? Well, I'm into the whole home recording thing, you know, and again, I am kind of an amateur hack type, and I was reading in Recording Magazine, I read some positive reviews about this mic a few years back, and that inspired me to do some research on YouTube, and I saw a video from the guy who has a YouTube channel called GarageBand and Beyond. And he does a lot of videos about how to use, you know, GarageBand, you know, all different tips and tricks and things beyond GarageBand, which I guess is why he calls it GarageBand and Beyond. But he did a review of this mic, and he demonstrated playing it on acoustic guitar. I don't know if he had an accordion or something, or a banjo. That I don't remember. But he also demonstrated playing piano using a different type of clip. And one of the things that he mentioned, he said a lot of folks that are hobbyists like myself that record at home, we don't have the best room treatment. And I certainly don't. I know I keep talking about it, but I've never gotten around to putting any treatment in this room. So the sound is bouncing, all around. In fact, right now, I'm talking through this little Rode, I guess, GoPro 2 mic. And other than picking up my voice, it's picking up the sound in this room, which you could probably hear on this video, especially if you have headphones on. So if I, clapper it all, it's bouncing all over the place. So that bleeds into the microphones. And the advantage of this DPA 499 mic, two advantages. One is it's super cardioid, so it blocks out more sound than a regular cardioid mic. The other advantage is because of its proximity to the guitar, it's not picking up very much bleed. So when I'm singing as well, it's not picking up too much of that. And again, the more bleed you have and the more the sound bounces around, the thinner the sound can be, the more phase issues you have. And in the past, I used to think, it's because of my equipment. Well, a lot of it, some of it's the equipment, but a lot of it is the fact that I don't have a treated room. It's too live in here. I have the door open right now, and that makes it even more livelier. And this is why I guess, professionals that are playing live favor this mic as well, because it's also, as I said, it's not picking up as much bleed. But those are the main reasons why I decided to get one. It wasn't cheap, by the way. It's like somewhere in the $600 to $700 range, at least the last time I checked. But that's it. So what do I like about the mic? Well, at least to my ears, I think it sounds pretty good. Certainly better than the piezo pickup, that's built right into the guitar if you were going direct. Although sometimes I will blend the two together and you'll get kind of its own little unique sound. But again, I think it sounds pretty good. It is a little bit more brighter, I think, than my other condenser microphones that I own. They sound a little, maybe, I'll say warmer, for lack of a better word. Now, it could be because the microphone, it's just this tiny little thing here, and it's so close to the strings. I don't know if that has something to do with it or not. But I do find the bassier notes maybe not picking up quite as bassy as maybe my regular, condenser mics. So that's number one. The other benefit is you can make different EQ adjustments by moving the mic around. So if you want to get, more of a warmer sound, point it more, I guess, towards the sound hole. You can obviously move it very close to the strings. You can move it, I think, it looks like maybe, I don't know, 3.5, maybe 4 inches back, which I find useful if I'm strumming kind of hard. I like to get a little bit more air in there. And again, you can also move the mic and, place it on another part of the guitar and have it down here and facing back up. The other thing is it's always consistent. So if you're playing live and you're the type of person that moves around quite a bit, and maybe you got a microphone in front of you and you forget it's there and you walk away, and it's going to, obviously the sound's going to drop off. The sound is always, no matter where you're walking, if you're on the stage, no matter where you are, it's consistent in that regard. The other benefit is, as I mentioned before, is you're not getting a lot of bleed. You're not getting a lot of room coming in. And if you're a singer, which I like to do, and I'll demo some of this in a little bit, you don't get vocal bleed, or you get minimal. You can hear a tiny bit, but not as much as if you used a regular condenser microphone that was maybe sitting a foot out in front of you. Especially if it was a cardioid mic versus a super cardioid. And speaking of, bleed and consistency, a lot of times I use this headset mic, AKG headset mic I got several months back, and no matter where I move my head or no matter where I move my guitar, it's always consistent. So that's another benefit. And I guess the last benefit, and again, I don't really play live too often, and I have not tried this mic playing live yet, is I think it's pretty good with feedback. I did demo it here in my house using my Fishman acoustic amplifier, and because it being supercardioid and because it being close to the strings and all, I didn't get much feedback. Now you will still get it, just like any other mic. No microphone is completely feedback proof. If you happen to stand right in front of your amp or have your amp right behind you, you're going to probably get feedback. As long as your amp or your PA systems are to the side, or a lot of times the two speakers might be a little bit in front of you, you should be okay with that as well. So those are the pluses. All right, so what are the negatives that I see? Again, this is mainly my opinion here, but because it's so close to the strings, and you really can't move this much further than, as I said, 3 or 4 inches beyond. And in a regular studio environment, a pro engineer would never really be using, I don't think, would ever be using this microphone. If you were in a studio, they would be using a condenser mic. And they'd be using a condenser mic because they're able to get, again, in my opinion, or even in my own experience, you're able to get more of the body of the guitar sound into a regular condenser mic, especially if it's maybe a foot or 2 feet away. I think the pro engineers would go anywhere from, maybe as close as 4 or 5 or 6 inches, and especially if they're recording somebody that's not singing, they would probably move it back maybe a foot or even 2 feet. Maybe use two mics, and again, get the whole body. Here, you're really kind of just getting, just sort of the strings and a tiny bit of the body. Now, again, it does a great job. It's isolating, the sound of the guitar. You're not getting the bleed, the vocal, and all that. But you are not getting, as I said, you're not getting the body. The other thing related to that too, or at least for me personally, is I at times can be a heavy strummer. I'm more of a strummer than I am a picker, and strumming a guitar to me just sounds better with a regular microphone being a foot out in front of me. And strumming, really hard here, at times, if I hit it really hard, I feel like it almost conks out a little bit. Again, this is just my kind of view on that. Others might feel differently. The other thing is, and I don't know if I got these numbered on a sheet of paper. I don't know if I'm up to number 3 or 4 or whatever the heck it is here, but because it's always in the same spot, which is a benefit, as I just mentioned before, so no matter where you move, the microphone is always, consistent. The one limitation of that is some guitar players, some really good guitar players, I'm talking acoustic here, like to control their dynamics, just like a vocalist would with a microphone. Maybe they get to a real intimate part of the singing and they come up real close and get that warm, bassy vocal, or they're screaming and they're loud, they back off, during those parts. Well, a really good guitar instrumentalist, say, who finger picks and strums and mixes it around a lot, may do the same thing with a microphone. So they may want to move up as they're playing. They may kind of, move up close to the mic and then bring it back a little bit. It gives you that live, dynamic feel that you would get from a regular microphone. And you're not going to get that here. Now, I will say, as far as finger picking, I did watch a couple videos on YouTube of folks that were finger picking, I should say, and sounded really good, especially on nylon string guitars. I think it sounded beautiful when I watched some nylon string classical guitar players using this mic. It sounded really good. So if you're one of those folks, you may want to, you know, consider that. The other thing is negative, con, is this little clip doesn't always stick on too well. Now it's great if you're just sitting down like me, but even that, sometimes I'll bump into it and I'll fall right off. And I got to imagine if you're playing live, you know, and you're really getting into it, there's a chance this could fall off on you as well. I've seen some YouTube videos of folks playing it live and noticed that at least one person had it duct taped on top of this. Now, I would never want to put duct tape on my guitar, but at any rate, I guess that's a solution. But that is a con as well, is the fact that this can fall off. And as I mentioned earlier, I guess the last con, oh no, I got one more, I got two more. The second to last one, again, is the feedback. Again, it's not feedback proof, so you can get feedback, but every other condenser mic is kind of more susceptible to feedback than a dynamic mic. But the last thing, this is the last thing I was going to mention, is if you happen to have an Ovation guitar like I do, I have this old Ovation here, and the way the body's made on an Ovation guitar, it's, you know, it's rounded. At least most of the ones that I've ever seen or touched or played, and I can't get that clip on here. Now, I don't know if DPA has a special clip for an Ovation guitar, or maybe there's a different type of clip that could come on here, but you know, I just can't I just haven't been able to figure out how to do it on here. Now, I'd say most Ovation guitars are probably more known for their quality set besides their playing ability. They sound really good plugged in, so you may not ever want to use a microphone like that, but figured I'd mention that as well. And I think next I was going to maybe do some demos of this. Okay, so this is the part where I guess I do the demo. And I guess before I do that, just to kind of tell you how I'm set up. First, I'm still talking on this little microphone here. This is a Rode, I think it's a GoPro 2 mic, and that's going directly into my camera. And as I said earlier, I'm in an untreated room here, so sound is bouncing off the walls. So not only are you hearing my voice, you're also hearing the sound of the room, especially if you have, you know, a good set of headphones on. Now, how I'm set up here, and what I'm going to compare is, obviously I'm going to, you know, demo the DPA microphone. Then I also have an AKG condenser cardioid mic about maybe a foot in front of me. I don't think you can see it on the camera there. It's the AKG 460B, if you're interested in the model number. I don't believe they make this. In fact, I'm positive they don't make this anymore. They just made it a few years in the 90s. And if I remember correctly, it replaced it, I think it was an AKG 451, a very popular mic. And then they started making this, and then they went back to the 451 or 460. Actually, this is the 460. The 451, I believe they went back to. So that's that mic. I'm also plugged in directly, so I'll let you hear how that sounds. And then I have this, you know, vocal mic. This is a Shure Beta, I guess, Beta 58 microphone. Super cardioid, just like this is super cardioid. And again, the AKG is just a regular cardioid. And all that is going directly into my Tascam Model 12 that you see back here. And I got everything flat. I have the EQ completely flat. I don't have any compression, no effects. Everything's panned straight down the middle. I haven't inverted any of the phase on any of the channels. and I'm using the Tascam's preamps. Now I will admit that the song that I did earlier, the Sweet Home Chicago, I did use some of my outboard gear. What I did for the DPA mic, I don't know if you could see it, I think you probably can. I used the Focusrite ISA1 preamp, and then for the vocal, I went from, you know, the Shure microphone to my old PV VMP2 tube preamp that you see down below. And I think I might have had that going into a compressor, an outboard compressor, my Warm Audio, what the heck is this thing? WA2 or something like that. Just a tiny bit of compression. And I bypassed the Tascam's preamps. I didn't even go through them. I went through the inserts. So that's how that was done. So I guess first let me just do a little clap test here so you can get a feel for the room again. So I'm going to clap 3 times. I'm going to go through the road. Right? You can hear that. Next, I'm going to clap through the DPA. I'll have the DPA microphone on so you can hear that. Right? Then I'm going to do the AKG mic. And then last, I'll do the Shure mic. Now, I believe in all 3 of those cases, or 4 I should say, you're going to hear a little bit of the room in each one, but hopefully, or I believe, you probably heard the least amount of room, although it kind of depends on how close my hand was clapping to these mics. You probably heard the least maybe through the Shure, and then I would think you know, probably followed by the DPA, and then followed by the AKG. And the one that probably had the most coming through it is probably the one that's around my neck. But I don't know myself until I go back and hear this. So there's always a little bit of bleed coming through no matter what you use. Now, I guess what I was going to do was strum a few chords so you can compare these mics. And first, I'm going to just use the direct, which I guess is a piezo, however you say it. But I'm using, you know, whatever is built into this acoustic guitar here. Okay. Next, I'll use the DPA. And now I'll use the AKG mic. And again, I'm about a foot away with my guitar. I believe most of the time, it all depends on how I'm kind of set up. The AKG should sound a little bit warmer than the DPA. And it, you know, again, it's picking up a little bit more of the body. But again, if I start singing, it actually picks up a little bit of my voice too than the DPA would. So next, I think I was going to finger pick. Now, I'm not the best when it comes to finger picking, but I'll give this a shot here. This is a little exercise I sometimes do. It's almost like a classical type thing. I wouldn't call it quite Bach, but it's pretty simple, just a little progression that I kind of made up, but it sounds like it came from somewhere. But here we go. Okay, so that was direct. And now this is AKG. A little sloppy. And last, I'll do the DPA mic. All right. And next, yes, I will sing a little bit here. And what I was going to do was sing through the Shure and, you know, mute the Rode mic that's around my neck. And I'll play through the DPA, just a little part. I'll just do a little part of the song I did before, you know, from Sweet Home Chicago. Baby, baby, don't you want to go? I said, baby, honey, don't you want to go? Atlanta, California, to my sweet home of Chicago. Now let's try singing. Let's try singing with the Shure microphone muted, so you get an idea how well it does keeping my vocal out. So hopefully you got a feel for that. Now, just for the heck of it, I'm going to mute the guitar and show you just how well this Shure, even though I'm not, you know, doing a review of the Shure, but show you how well this Shure Beta 58 does on keeping the guitar out. Now, one of the tricks too, if you're kind of new to, you know, singing and playing at the same time, you want to have this sort of at the right angle. And if you kind of angle it up like this or like this, it tends to block more of the guitar out as opposed to being like this. You just have to play around with it. Hopefully the darn thing doesn't fall down on me. So let me just show you that. So here we go. Baby, baby, don't you want to go? I said, baby, honey, don't you want to go? From Atlanta, California to my sweet home of Chicago. Alrighty, so that hopefully gives you, you know, a better feel of the mics. And I am back on the Rode, so I can cut all this down. So now you hear all the room noise again. I should have just did this whole thing on this microphone, but I also wanted you to get a feel for, you know, the room sound and how well these mics isolate that. So I guess in summary, I'll just talk about, you know, who I think who would be a candidate for getting a microphone like this. So obviously the first candidate would be somebody who plays live, you know, say plays acoustic instrument live. and doesn't like the sound of a direct guitar hooked up, that piezo pickup, and that you prefer the sound of a microphone, you would be a very good candidate for to consider getting one of these. So that's one person. Somebody, I guess, who is a singer-songwriter, sings and plays guitar at the same time, and you're trying to get better separation and isolation between the two instruments, your one instrument being your voice, your other one being the guitar. Especially if you're like me in a non-treated room, I think you would also be a candidate. Now, as far as the studio goes, if you're really doing serious, studio recording and you're overdubbing and you have a treated room and you don't really care so much about the live thing or whatever, I think you're better off with a regular, old-fashioned, I'll call it, a condenser mic. I just feel, it gets so much more of the body of the guitar, and you could always move that mic in closer, and the closer you get, the less bleed you're going to get, say, from a vocal or the room. But if you're overdubbing, you're not doing the vocal, but you're just isolating the guitar. But I wouldn't recommend this for that type of scenario. Also, it's not a cheap mic again. It's in that $600 or $700 range. I don't know if you can find it cheaper or not, or maybe if you got it used. But I would say, if it's your first microphone, I don't think I would go for it either. I think it's more of a second microphone. You already have a decent microphone and you want a second microphone. Getting back to the studio thing, I guess one other possibility, and I actually saw somebody demo this, who did a demonstration of it. You can use two mics. So you may have this mic up close, closer to the strings, and then you might have a room that is a little bit further back. You just have to be careful again with the phase. So those are the primary, I guess, I don't know, scenarios I could think of for who would want this mic. Now there are other reviews I would recommend you check out. Again, I would check out that GarageBand and Beyond's review. It's a little bit, it's probably like 9 or 10 years old now, but it's still relevant. I think originally DPA had a different version of this mic, and they may have came up with a more recent version, meaning a more recent version in the last 7 or 8 years. So whatever review you watch, you just got to be careful, because it could be an older model. But I would check out some of those, check out some other folks on YouTube that are doing reviews, and get your thoughts on that. Other than that, I think that's it. I know I covered a lot here, and if you have any questions or comments, just shoot them over to me. Otherwise, take care, and thanks for watching. Okay, that's not it actually, and I assume if you made it this far, you're probably either very much into the DPA microphone and interested in it, or you're a geek like me and you're just into this type of stuff. But what I decided to do after I was done mixing this video down, I decided to include a version of the song that I opened up with, Sweet Home Chicago. But this time let you hear what it sounds like going through this wireless Rode mic that I have. And I actually feel it doesn't sound bad. You can hear the vocal and the guitar both equally through it. And yeah, there's a sound in the room. And yes, it is a budget mic, compared to, all this other gear I have. And sometimes I think, folks like myself can get very obsessed, where we're into recording, and wanting to have the best gear. And just like I went through everything, trying to keep each instrument isolated and using my best outboard preamps and, mixing it on my DAW and, sometimes, even though you do all that, sometimes I feel like it can suck the life out of the song, and it can sound a little bit too sterile, unless you really know what the heck you're doing. Whereas this microphone, when I record it with this, I feel like it's kind of a little bit more just organic. There's a little more life, a little more ambience to it. Yes, it's not perfect. Yes, the sound of the room is all going through it. So take a listen to it, and it's actually giving me an idea. I think maybe my next 5-song Friday, I haven't done one of those in a while, I might actually do all the songs with this, see how it goes. And that was it. Take care again, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Baby, baby, don't you want to go? Oh, baby, baby, don't you want to go? From the land of California to my sweet home of Chicago. Oh, baby, baby, don't you want to go? Oh, baby, baby, don't you want to go? From the land of California to my sweet home of Chicago. Now 1 and 1 is 2, and 2 and 2 is 4. I'm heavy loaded, baby, I'm broke, let's go. Sing it, baby. Honey, don't you want to go? California to my sweet home of Chicago. All right, here we go. Now, baby, honey, don't you want to go? I said, baby, baby, don't you want to go? From California to my sweet home of Chicago.